Hello everyone, Death Simulator here, bringing you some more Naval Action. Today we've got a interesting little matchup, myself in the surprise, and that list you see before you. 2 constitutions either side, 2 trincomalis, and 2 surprises, and 1 Cerebus. We've got the advantage with a single Navy brig backing us up, and we'll see if we can pull a win off here. I'll be attempting to use my ship's maneuverability to keep a tad bit of distance and just work on the enemy's masts early on. We've got one of our constitutions up the front. I could be wrong, sir. I think that's actually a trincomaly. We've got our... Anyway, I'm at the rear. I'm going to be playing fairly defensively and just protecting the back of our constitution here. Desert rat. Sorry, frog in my throat there. Oh boy, we're already in range of the enemy's guns. I don't think... Oh, so close. I don't think I'll be able to return fire at this range. We'll have a look and see though. No, falling short, and even against that ship over there. That's surprise, actually. That's my one of my counterparts. We appear to have a somewhat similar loadout. Anyway, I'll be waiting on orders from the rest of my team, and I'll basically just be taking my cues off them, whether they're direct orders or just, you know, general visual clues. Uh-oh. Looks like we've got a slight blockage up ahead. Our constitution is appearing to just try to be catching us up. And we've all veered wide to avoid him, or I should say the other ships have. Anyway, some of these ships have gained a little ground on us, so we'll just take a few shots off to see how far we are still. A reasonable distance away from pretty much everyone on their team. Unfortunately, I haven't equipped myself with long nines for this game. One of the features that I'll be hoping they include in future is the ability to customize your ship kind of during the loading phase, because you can't jump in and out of the match. So if you feel like you want a different ship setup, you can't really get one unless it's before the minimum number of people join. Right. Charge, land, and escape. Okay. See if we can get some pot shots off on them yet. Probably not still. Nope, but we are edging closer. Just adjust my sails a little bit, try and bring myself out so that we're not left on our own. Well, sorry, we're not disrupting the formation of our ships and thus ending up left on our own. Wadmore has taken a bit of damage there. From one of his counterpart constitutions, and it looks like some fire from one of the trincomalis as well. Right, now finally, hopefully we'll be in range. That looks pretty solid. Too bad my aim very much was not. I aimed too far back. I should have waited for myself to come in line a bit more. We'll see if he returns fire directly onto me, or if he tries to hold it off for, say, Wade Moore or someone else. The surprise is a decent enough threat, so it would not surprise me at all if he took the opportunity to take some shots at it. I'm just going to slow down to battle speed and see if we can basically raise up the guns a little more. Just an inch or two. No, sadly not. Just going to have to turn with Desert Rat a bit here. I don't want to risk running into him and damaging his ship too much. Alright, now we'll find out if we're in range of one of our counterpart surprises. Excellent, so it looks like we can overshoot them, so we can adjust ourselves. That looks fairly good. We'll aim a little bit in the forward arc, and hopefully our shots will have time. Sadly, I did not adjust enough. I under-adjusted. And all the shots have fallen over them. They may have done a little bit of damage to the sails, but the angle that they were hitting the sails at is unlikely to have any significant impact. Alright, so I've fallen behind most of my ships at this point, so I'm going to have to speed up a little bit. Cut in behind the Cerebus here, and just staying on the tail of Desert Rat. Well, I overshot, they undershot. It's a reasonable exchange of fire, as it were. Now, I might be able to use the opportunity to take shots at their constitution here. I'm hoping to be able to overshoot so that I can actually hit his sails rather than his hull, because my shots are pretty low. Sadly not, he moved out of range before my shots were able to connect with him. So far, it's not going great. We've lost one of our constitution. He was just sitting in their kind of full range of fire for an extended period, and those shots really did take their toll. Even against, you know, a ship of his class. The Constitution is not a light ship by any means. Alright, gonna take some pot shots over at the Cerebus and the Constitution there. Can probably bring my shots down actually quite a bit. And even a little bit more. That looks about perfect. Hoping to get some sail shots in. He's not aiming far enough forward again. So that's had a major impact on our ability to do any damage for the foreseeable future. Now, anticipating a bit of close combat, I've set up my left-hand side to have double shot. As invariably these battles do kind of get closer and closer together. And I don't really want to be left with just standard ball shot against some of the larger, more powerful ships. Just a few more sail shots here would be lovely if we were able to do a bit of damage to the mast or something like that. It's very, very effective kind of short-term damage, and does a great job of disabling a ship if you can get their masts in a timely fashion. Looks like the surprise has chosen to quickly close the gap. In fact, both surprises have. This kind of gives me an opportune moment to bombard their sails and potentially their masts. Alright, now the gap's closed though, I am going to be switching up to double shot. Still wanting to make sure that I stay with my team, as I'm not going to last very long if I go up against a double surprise or even a surprise with a Cerberus. Now I'm looking over at Desert Rat there, engaging. I've fallen quite a bit behind him, even though my intention was to stay close. And I might have to go against what I was saying about not going up against the double Cerberus combination, but I don't really fancy taking a lot of fire from both of them. And cutting across behind one and in front of the other is going to give me an opportunity to do a little bit of damage to them. I'm hoping to go for a full-on rake here and just kind of line up every shot into their bow. So this should... no, I'm going to have to fire off everything, otherwise I'm just going to miss him completely. Not great. Not great, not terrible. We took a little bit of damage, they took slightly less. But I'll be able to bring myself up on the rear of the surprise, which is good. And I've taken a little bit of damage from their Cerberus as well, so all in all we came out fairly well. Now I'm just waiting to receive this amount of fire from Bambula here in the other surprise. I presume he will turn and have a number of shots against me before I can engage him, but he may not. Looks like he wasn't actually... oh no, there we go. I thought he'd be able to get his guns in firing range at this point. And just let everything I have go. Unfortunately, I seem to be suffering quite a bit of lag today, as it seemed to take a bit longer than I expected. However, we're able to get a little bit of a shot off against Alphaceta here. Yep. Not too fussed if I get his sails or his hull, as he's at quite a distance from me, and I wouldn't expect my shots to do too much damage to him. However, I will be firing off almost immediately against their constitution, but I was out of range. I was just hoping to be able to clip him. I couldn't get my shots much higher without spending a bit of time turning my ship, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity. Just paying attention to where my allied ships are and looking to see how we can go about engaging the remaining enemies. Turning into the wind, I'm hoping that Grim de Grim, and that will pass me, and I'll be able to get shots off against their rear sections. As I switch back up to manual sails, I've taken a lot of damage on the stern of my ship from them just now, so I'd like to return the favour. Looks like I have the perfect opportunity to do so. Bambula brought himself to a complete stop, got some decent hits on me, and I'm just going to try to overrun him here. Sadly not, but that's alright. It gives me the opportunity to turn and deal a fair whack of damage to him. I'll get some repairs underway and switch myself up to survival mode at this point. And then get a full, almost full broadside off against him. Close range, double shot, works quite nicely. I don't really want to be caught here, to be frank. Going to focus on trying to get one or two more shots off cut in behind him, and I should have my guns yep, they do. My guns on my right side are reloaded, and they'll be able to do a decent amount of damage to him. So we'll once again be exchanging broadsides, and it's ended up as a bit of a surprise fight at the back. While many of the larger ships are actually a fair bit ahead. Mind you, what's the... Oh, Desert Rat's still here. Oh, that's our constitution for you. I had thought he was well ahead by this point, but I've actually been able to pass him in this position. Sadly, I am not in a good way. Now, I'm probably just going to get completely past here, so I'm going to take the opportunity to fire while I can, and then I'll just look at snaking around. Ooh. That time, that wasn't intentional. Wasn't going for the ram in this case. And I'll be able to get my full section off against Grim to Grim, which has worked out reasonably well. He'll of course be able to return fire against me, but by the look of it, he doesn't have another repair kit left, whereas I do. Mind you, I'm looking in pretty terrible shape as it is. Oh yeah, no, he's just going to match me there, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'll just get repairing on my last section and sail away. Hopefully be able to come across and actually get Sir Kang before he get... not before, but, you know, after he gets his full broadside off on me. Looks like Desert Rat might be caught against the wind. No, he does have his sails out, so I'm not too sure what's going on there. And I'd prefer not to get too separated from him at this point. Mind you, I haven't been paying attention to the wind myself, hasn't gone so well for me. May have been fortunate and gotten a rudder shot there against Kang, but it's all fairly unlikely at this point. Never mind, Grim to Grim's recovered himself quite nicely. And we're trading off shots again. Now, hopefully, we should be able to get into a reasonable position with the rest of the fleet. I'm not too sure what we've got left. So we've lost our Trincomalee and one of our constitutions. They've lost one of their constitutions, and they've got a Trincomalee left. So the balance of power is somewhat in their favour at this time. I'm hoping that by sticking with our constitution, we'll actually be able to continue to have a meaningful impact on this game. We'll just be, once again, taking our leads from them. Looks like what they want to do is take out Bambula here. This little surprise. So, I'm happy to assist. If only my shots were decent range. Those are startlingly close to their hull. That was not my intention at all when I fired those. I think I'll have to just get used to accounting for the delay between when I give the order and when I fire. I've got to get my turn on pretty quickly. Otherwise I'm going to end up running straight into Desert Rat. Or the Switcher here. But he seems to have come around me quite nicely, and we're in a reasonable position. Don't have to worry too much about each other. Fortunately, the sails aren't particularly heavily modelled, so there's not a lot of collision detection between the two. And I always forget to use my chasers, my stern chasers and my bow chasers. I need to work on that a lot, as they can have quite the impact. Well, speaking of impact, I'm not actually going to be able to get a shot off here. That's rather vexing. I wonder if he's going for the boarding action. I don't think... no, Bumbulla's got 198 men. He's not going to be losing out in this situation. Wow, I am quite surprised that went how it did. Well done to the Switcher there. Rather surprising. Desert Rat's put himself kind of back in line with us. I'm going to swing around behind him. I don't really want to leave his range too much. Mind you, it's not in great condition as it is at this time, so... Can we get any reasonable shots? No, so we're either going to have to switch out our ammo, or we'll look at going in closer. And it might actually be optimal to go in closer here. We have no repairs though, so we're just going to have to live with what we've got, or die with it. I'm going to switch up my right hand ammo for standard ball shot, and we're just going to work at them at range. I think regrouping would be the optimal action here. I might actually just mention that. Oop. And we will hopefully then be able to go in together, take out their other Constitution class. Tommy Shelby looks like they're about to go in. Okay. I'm kind of stuck between two worlds at the moment, one of which is holding off, pecking away at the enemy. And the other is going to be going in. Guns a-blazing. Oh, that was absolutely awful. A few hits, but nothing like the numbers that I should have gotten. I should have probably hit with every one of those from a broadside like that. Liam's there, other Trincomalee. The markings on the vessels confound me significantly sometimes when you've got ships of different. They are distinctively different in size, but they're just the colour of the wood's the same, and the layout of their weapons is very similar. And I'm still learning the shapes of the ships, so I don't quite get those right either. Now, Our next plan of action, I guess I'm just going to follow Desert Rat in. He seems to be looking for trouble. And I am more than happy to help him out. Ah, I see. Yeah, he seems to be in very poor condition, and I imagine he's used up his remaining repairs, so he's probably just going in to do a last bit of damage. And with Tommy Shelby coming in as well, we might stand a chance of cutting Liam off and working together to sink him. I'm going to say Crashmaster's looking in fantastic condition. I wonder how much damage he's done. It would be nice if he's been able to do a fair whack at range. Our last constitution. How is he going, actually? Well, looks like he's recovering nicely. That's potential damage to his rudder, so that's going to be good in terms of chasing him down. We can get some decent engagements going. And their surprise looking in actually excellent condition, which is vexing, to say the least. Oh, that's most unfortunate. I'm going to come in here and attempt to get some leverage on the position with those two so far upwind. They won't be able to directly assist if I can come in on Liam here and get some decent damage. Though it is a shame about Desert Rat. We're not out of it yet. And Navy Briggs actually recovered, surprisingly. He thought he was done for. Now Cerberus is way back there. One of our Trincomalis is still afloat. And our surprise... Wait. Yeah, there. Our surprise is going to have to deal with their Trincomaly while the opportunity still exists. Hoping we're in range of Dig Room here, but we're not, because I sillily kept my double shot equipped rather than anticipating a longer range battle, which I'm just going to have to change out everything here because I'm not able to catch up to Liam with my sails in this condition. Instead we'll join up Tommy Shelby and... Oh, that's actually probably me gone. Excellent shooting by Leviathan there. And yeah, with my pump damaged and all the damage to my hull, I'm really not going to be able to survive very long. If my pump was in condition, I might be able to keep myself going for a little bit. But realistically, no, not a chance of staying afloat here. And you can see the water build up very rapidly. All I'm trying to do is just not get in Tommy Shelby's way too much as I sink here. Yeah, even my standard shot's not making the distance, making the cut. Try and swing myself around here, get one last little shot off before I go down. Almost there. At this rate though, Liam will probably be outside of my potential range by the time I'm able to get the shots off, just because my ship's sunk so much. You can actually see, yep, all my ports are underwater and I'm done. Oh well, that was an excellent broadside by Leviathan there though. All those shots hitting at that range, nicely placed. Alright, so now we'll just have a quick look around the fleet. Switch is recovered, which is excellent, because we really do need all the help we can get. Cerberus is doing alright. The other Surprise has ended up somewhat surrounded and is just taking an absolute pummeling from being near immaculate condition. He's lost out quite a bit here, unfortunately. And Tommy Shelby, largest ship we have left, Trincomalee, is going to... Ah, Liam sunk. Alright. That's quite surprising, but it does put us in a rather advantageous position. It just means that there's only Grim and Leviathan left against 4 ships, even though there's a damaged Surprise, a Cerberus, a Navy Brig, and a Trincomalee. Hello everyone, Death Stimulator here. Sorry about the cut in the audio. Unfortunately, one of my neighbours started a generator during this portion of the recording, so I'm just going to pick it up here in a post-game commentary. I've just had to, yeah, try and work around a lot of noise-related things recently, so that's partially affecting my audio and why my volume tends to be a little low. Hopefully these new videos will be an improvement on that. And as always, please continue to give me your feedback, as it's really helpful to know what you guys are hearing as well. Also, what I need to set the levels to. Hopefully this should be good if you're listening to it around 50% on, your standard audio sliders. Anyway, we're just watching the close here from the point of view of our Trincomalee. Now these guys do a great job, but unfortunately, due to their separation, we lose out overall. One of the big important parts of it is the fact that you do need to keep your ships together, particularly in the late game, and particularly against larger ship classes, and losing out can cost you the game. As you can see, our Surprise has sunk. It was versing off against their Constitution class ship, as well as their other remaining one. Being the other Surprise, sorry. Now our Cerberus is taking some shots, but unfortunately they're just falling short. Meanwhile the Constitution class ship is able to do some serious damage. Our Surprise isn't too happy, as they chose to go in on their own and didn't actually check to see if they were being followed, and unfortunately ended up fighting on their own against much larger ships, and well, an equal class of ship and a larger ship. That being said, all does not seem to be lost. We've got our Trincomalee working its way backwards in relatively solid condition, and is able to get some decent shots off at range here. Our little Cerberus and our Navy Brig are still pottering around, but the Navy Brig in particular is in very poor condition, and it's having a hard time getting in close. It needs, much shorter range to try and get any damage in at all, and against the larger ships of the Surprise and the Constitution, it doesn't really have much chance. But at the same time, it's getting in there, and that's kind of distracting them a little bit from the incoming larger ships, like the Trincomalee and the Cerberus. And it certainly wouldn't do the Navy Brig any good to stay out of the fight, because they wouldn't be able to offer any support. It would just simply be a matter of them surviving. And in a realistic battle situation, an injured ship escaping to be used later on would be beneficial. In this kind of game, it doesn't really make too much difference. Also, that being said, it's still a pretty hard target to hit. They naturally are very small compared to the other ships. They sit very low in the water, and so quite a few shots do end up missing, even though many do still find their mark. Actually, a good range of hits there, coming from their surprise, which was rather good shooting on their part. Both the surprise and the Constitution left over here have some excellent shots and have made a number of really solid long-range attacks this game, which have all compounded and worked out quite nicely. As has many of our team. I mean, our Trincomalee does some good shooting here, but there is a very real need for them to get in close with the Constitution, because it will lose a long-range battle against the Constitution, which is slightly larger, slightly more guns, just slightly. Now, coming up towards the end of the match, we're going to see some excellent manoeuvring here. Our Trincomalee plays a very dangerous game in an attempt to wrestle the lead from the larger ship. As he's coming up on him, he's not getting the opportunity to open fire himself, which means that he's just going to have to take some hits and hopefully be able to deal damage back in return. Mind you, he did actually take the opportunity here to lean out wide and shoot before continuing on in. But overall, it's a fairly rapid advance. He's just not sitting back and waiting. He has excellent use of his guns. His bow chasers there missing, but at least he used them, unlike myself. Still many things to work on in this game, that's for sure. He's taken a lot of hits now. There's not really any coming back from this. However, this move is really nice. He goes with the current, affects his sails, drops his speed just enough that he's able to notch himself on the inside of the larger ship's firing arc, and is possibly a little bit early by Leviathan, the shots there, as most of them do end up missing. And then the Trincomalee swings out, having missed the bombardment. Not from their surprise, of course, but he missed the bombardment from the larger ship and is able to get all his shots off. He's now led the Constitution into the wind, which has dropped its overall speed. And he's able to swing back round. And here he goes, trying to get both shots off on the same side and kind of put the ship to rest, as it were. I mean, it's riding pretty low in the water now. Both ships are, of course, but in terms of an exchange, it was very much in the favour of the Trincomalee, rather than entirely one-sided on the Constitution side. And there's the Cerberus in the background, just doing a few little shots. Unfortunately, not too much they're able to do there. Trincomalee puts himself in position, is able to get his shots off. It worked out nicely for him, but unfortunately doesn't pay off in the long run. A nice manoeuvre, but the power of the Constitution is too great. And the Trincomalee sinks shortly after this, below the waves. Not able to take the sustained fire of the Surprise and the Constitution. So in closing, what we'll do is we'll just speed through the last section with the Cerberus facing off against the Constitution and the other Surprise. Well, thanks everyone for watching. It's been Death Stimulator. If you did enjoy the video, do consider liking, commenting, favoriting or subscribing, as your support does mean the world to me. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.